one of the ways you can collect ideas for possible stories. And we talked about just observing little things around you in life and then creating a story about that, right? And you guys had a chance to collect possible story ideas. Well, today I'm going to teach you a totally new and different strategy. Today's strategy, or today's way to collect ideas, is to think and imagine the books that you wish existed in the world. You wish that you could walk over to that library and pick up a book about. Imagine the stories that you would read if some author had written that for you. So, we're going to be thinking about stories that we just wish lived in the library. And that's how you're going to collect story ideas today. So, when I was your age, you guys, when I was like a young reader like you, I always wished that there was a story about a girl who was a ballerina, because I felt like there weren't really any good stories like that. When I was a toddler, there was some good like ballerina stories. But then when I got older, like you, there were no chapter books. There were no short stories really about ballerinas. And I wish that a book like that existed. When I was your age, I started to think that maybe I didn't want to do it anymore because I was like the only girl that did ballet in my class. And I was starting to kind of wonder. So that's a possible story idea. So, writers, I'm going to start to jot down some of my thinking about what that story might be like. Because I wish I could walk over to the shelf and pick up a book about a girl like me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and invent a story. It's going to go something like this. Although, and now would be a great time, writers, to go ahead and look up at the screen and just watch and listen to my thinking and my story jotting ideas. Although she loved, thank you, great job turning your bodies. Although she loved dance, and remember how I will always give you a time to talk, but right now is the time to listen and learn. So hang in there. Although she loved dance, she did not love that she was the only girl in 4th grade who was a ballerina. Remember, I'm inventing a character. Lucy had been a dancer, so I'm going to start to tell more about my character. Lucy had been a dancer since she was 3 years old. I'm going to continue to jot my story idea. But right now, writers, close your eyes for a second and try to imagine yourself walking over to the classroom library and picking a book off the library shelf or the school library or the Pleasanton library. And what would that book be that you wish you could just walk over, open it up, and start reading it? Close your eyes. Close your eyes and think about that story. What's the story that you wish had been written just for you? Keep your eyes closed and be thinking. If that story existed, what would it be like? Would the character be like me? Would the character have a struggle or a problem that maybe I've gone through, so you could maybe relate to the character in the story? Imagine that story really, truly does exist. Okay. Writers, very quickly turn to your writing partner. Wait. And you're going to say, I wish there was a story about, and tell them about that story. Partner A,
actually doing
Parker, what do you wish there was a story about? Parker, what do you wish there was a story about? Anyone? What do you wish there was a story about, Parker? I'm taping Mrs. Landis, not us. What do you wish there was a story about?
someone that like some people didn't really understand, and then he becomes like that's helping and stuff.
3, 2, and
No?
beautiful job. This is only my second day working with you, and I can already see that you're picking up on some of the good things that writers do. I heard some pretty incredible story ideas. I heard a story idea about a boy who loves basketball. His parents just don't know, they just don't realize it. But what I loved about your story idea is you were thinking of the beginning, the middle, and the end. Because then he started to have not only a problem, but the problem got worse, and then he thought of a solution. A friend comes along to help him out. So that was really good storytelling. So you imagined this book, and you thought your idea all the way through. That was really neat. I heard a student over here imagining a story, but I could hear this student really imagining the character, what the character was like. She's bossy and kind of blames people, and just like I could really kind of imagine that character unfolding on the page. Like I'm reading this book about this totally bossy character. Is that realistic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I also heard someone over here ask a question to their writing partner. I didn't even say push your writing partner to help them out. But here's a student who said, well, what's your character's name going to be? So encouraging the writing partner to think a little bit more about developing that character, inventing that character, right? So, writers, it's really important to me today that I send you back to your desks to get this really good story idea down while it's fresh. So instead of keeping you here on the carpet, I'm going to send you back in about 30 seconds to start getting your story idea out. So here's what I want you to know. I want to help you, but I also need to make sure that I get my story idea out while it's fresh. So I cannot help you right away. Thank you, students. Right away. You need to get back and get started on your phone. Then I can come later and check in on you. I'm going to get my writing down. While I'm drafting my story, if you need to look up and borrow some ideas, yeah, you can. Please look up and borrow ideas. I borrow ideas from authors all the time on the shelves. I always borrow ideas from real authors. So you can borrow ideas from me. You can borrow ideas from real authors. You can try something that you heard in the read aloud just a little while ago. There was humor because you all started laughing. So borrow ideas from other people while you're writing your story out today. Okay? Because you're imagining, you're creating that story that you wish existed in the world. So writers, today, and any day that you're trying to think of a story, this is one of the strategies that you can use to come up with a story idea. Okay? Let me get your attention 1 second. I'm going to ask you to go back in 6 seconds.